What is the biggest thing for Niceville in 2025?
Biggest thing for Niceville in 2025. It's probably to continue to make progress on all things CRA, and it's for the Niceville football team to do well next year. Those are the two biggest things.
So let's pick it apart because I have a dark horse in there, and it's
Okay.
it's learning adjacent.
Okay.
But so the number one thing, CRA. Why we talk about the CRA like so much?
Yeah.
Why does it matter to the layman, and why is it going to matter in 2025?
It's a catch-all term for all the things that you say you want in Niceville.
It's all of our hopes and dreams, but in like 6 acres.
Well, no, I mean, that's exactly the problem. The CRA has the component where it's like, oh, it's only this downtown area and it's only that, right? And that's a huge part of it. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
The fact, and maybe you call them CRA adjacent, I don't know, but the fact that they want to put in multi-use, paths all throughout Niceville, I think stuff like that like really matters. It makes your city more walkable, nicer to be in. It's, less likely to have people get run over or hit by cars. It's less cars on the road. People talk about the traffic and how we're building out
traffic.
how we have, all these issues and we're going to build more houses in Deer Moss. Yeah. I mean, but what people also don't realize is like Deer Moss is, when it's done, should have a lot of amenities, and a lot of people won't be leaving Deer Moss.
I almost feel like Deer Moss is going to be like this city within a city. And this is a thing that worries me, right? Is I don't want Deer Moss to be like this enclave that nobody ever leaves and like becomes almost like a separate part of the city from the rest of the city. I think that would be a net negative.
I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. That's actually an interesting discussion in itself. I think that modern towns are being built around the idea of like being able to walk and stay within your community for all your amenities. So I think there's a high possibility that a stay-at-home parent wouldn't have to leave Deer Moss Creek. They could go to the grocery store, the park, the church, their kid's school, all without having to leave Deer Moss. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Will they leave Deer Moss for other things? Of course, right? Like if they're going to go to a Niceville high school football game, or if they're going to go to a restaurant that's outside of Deer Moss, or, they want to be near the water, they're going to leave for those things. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that...
But don't we lose like economies of scale if we have like a bunch of people that have, for lack of a better term, like new infrastructure, new money coming in, all this stuff, and then the rest of the city gets left behind?
Well, that's on the city leadership to make sure that nothing gets left behind. And I think, the things that they're doing in Niceville proper outside of Deer Moss, I think are good ideas and great things. But, right now, most everybody who lives in Deer Moss has to leave to go anywhere. And so that's traffic on our roads already. So what if the place where you get your oil change or the place you're going to go get dessert or coffee is like right in your neighborhood, and instead of driving, you're walking there?
I'd rather have my oil change place like on the water or near the water. I find that's a much better...
Sure. I'll be interested to see if Niceville continues to support that business. So many people were angry about it.
It feels like people got angry and then they got over it, and now it's there, and it's just like part of life now. It's like one of those...
Sure.
The time to oppose it has passed.
Sure. And now you can go there.
And it's just like whatever.
And maybe people are. I don't know.
I'm more partial to the guy that like shows up and does your oil change. Like you just like book it in advance, because I don't want to sit in my car for an hour.
Yeah. But then your neighbors get mad because somebody's doing your oil in the front yard. But you should probably look at your HOA documents to see if that's allowed.
I got away with it once. Surely I'll get it again.
No, but I mean, that's the topic that you bring up is a valid one. But like in 2025, I think we should make progress on all those things, and we have the resources and time and energy to do it. We can't do everything all at once, but we surely can make progress.
Small bets.
Small bets.
Speaking of small bets, Niceville's football team, why do you feel like that's another piece of the puzzle?
It's so front and center in our community. There are people who haven't been to a Niceville football game that live here and are still part of our community, but I think they're missing out. I also think it's going to be interesting. I guess the Christmas parade is on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm guessing the team won't be back by then.
No, so my understanding is that they'll leave on like I've put in a request to figure out like, hey, when are you guys bouncing? If history tells me anything, it'll be like Wednesday or Thursday they'll leave. Probably Wednesday of this week.
Yeah, right?
To go to Lakeland.
Right. But then the Christmas parade's on Saturday morning.
Yeah, so
that's a big... I mean, I think normally doesn't doesn't Niceville sports teams and the
They get, like,
cheerleaders
the
and everyone
water thing from the, because that's what I requested from the city. I was like, you guys doing the
water
fire thing?
Yeah.
And they're like, so I'm hopeful. But I think you're right on the football team too. I think it doesn't necessarily need to be the football team, but like the fact that there's a unifying force in the town, I think the city provides that.
Sure.
Or not the city, the school provides that.
Yeah.
Just because so many people here have kids of school age.
Well, high school athletics are important to our community.
Yes.
You can definitely tell that. Football is just sort of the epitome of that.
It's the one we have, right? Like,
yeah, it's the alpha. It's the alpha out of all of it.
Not a bad thing. But for example, it could be in Minnesota, it'd be hockey, or in Connecticut, I'm assuming it's lacrosse.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Sorry, Connecticut, to go after you like that.
Yeah.
But I agree. There has to be. I think it's gotten very good. It's a good community thing. I was looking up at the playoff thing. You know that the last time that Niceville missed the playoffs was 2000.
That's crazy.
And so
That's crazy. We're coming up on 25 years.
Yeah, so 25 years of playoffs. When you have something like that, I think people just kind of like, success has 1,000 fathers. So I think a lot of people want to be a part of something that's really awesome.
Yeah, and what's great is the community gets involved, because also the band is huge.
Dude,
I mean,
the band is so underrated.
Well, I don't know if they're properly rated, underrated, or overrated, but what I will say is like I'm at the games and I stay for the entire game.
Yeah.
But like some people straight up leave at halftime once their kid's done with the halftime show.
I don't love that either.
I mean, I don't think that's great, but that just shows a testament to the band, right? Like people are showing up for the first half to watch their kid. And then if the game's interesting, they hang out. But if it's not, and we're already blowing a team out, it's like, oh, well, go find something else to do. But
the band, and I've had more band people come up to me and be like, thank you so much for taking pictures. I'm like, you guys are awesome. Like, thank you for being awesome. Like, it's not I'm not taking pictures of you as like a community service. Like,
right.
You guys are really good at what you do.
Well, I drive down Palm enough to know that they're out there practicing a lot on the practice fields. So yeah, shout out to the Niceville band.
So thank them. Thank you, band. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, I guess my comment about the football team being good next year is just because I think it does epitomize like our community and our community's dedication to athletics.
My dark horse in this for 2025, the thing I want to see really move forward, and I'm excited about this because they have a new president at State College. Not just in, I think the sports are really important, and I would love to see more people support them. I think that is just one of those things where people don't understand how good something is yet, and they will sooner or later, like, I'm trying to get as many people as I can to go to typically the women's basketball games because they're earlier, because I can't go to a 7 p.m. basketball game and expect my kids to be.
But a lot of them are back to back, right? The women play first and then the men are afterwards.
So I'm doing my bit for the ladies basketball team.
Sure.
My point is that the men's and the women's basketball team are really special and they're fun to watch. Same thing for baseball and softball. But that's kind of one piece of that. The other piece with the new president and Mel Ponder, I'm really excited to see the college become more community involved. He's a very big community guy.
Oh, yeah.
And so...
So I don't know my history of Northwest Florida State College presidents, but have they historically been more higher ed guys who just are asked to work here, and not necessarily like local?
State college system is the president has to be appointed by the board of trustees.
Right.
The governor kind of has a hand in that. And traditionally, so Dr. McCracken was the first president when they founded it in '63. Education background, doctorate. I can't remember who the guy was before our previous president, but he was also a doctor. He also had a doctorate. There's something named after him on campus as well.
But I guess what I was saying is, like, are they from other areas?
They're all from different areas, right? And that's what I'm saying. Is Mel is like...
Right. Mel's a local guy. Mel's been involved in politics and different businesses and things here for years. And so if there's anyone who can get the local people to participate in Northwest Florida State College activities, I think it would be him.
Yeah, and that's why I think he has a really good ability to build partnerships and coalitions.
Yeah.
And I think that the next step that makes sense to me for Northwest Florida State College, especially as we see, our population has doubled since 1980.
Sure.
We're seeing even more people come in to Florida, and the need for smaller. In Texas, we have really small, kind of like teachers' universities.
Sure.
So you have your UTs and your A&Ms.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like your regionals like UT Arlington or North Texas, whatever,
right.
Texas Tech. And then there's like another group that's kind of like smaller than those schools. So like San Angelo State or Sul Ross, like schools with 4, 5, 6,000 total undergraduates, right? And I think that Florida hopefully is moving towards that model, and I kind of see that because they're offering this mix of like bachelor's and associate's degrees.
Sure.
Kind of morphing into one school.
Yeah.
Kind of like Sul Ross in Alpine, Texas, population like 6,000. Right. And it's a very vibrant community. Everybody loves that school there. It's really small, and it's part of the rapid growth that's taken place in all of Texas. It's kind of like seeped into like the small West Texas towns as well. You get more and more people. And I think that we might be seeing a model where, you know, that the town really kind of hugs that university as kind of the crown jewel of the area. We have Eglin, right? And that's kind of our crown jewel. But like it's nice to have more than one ruby in the old diadem, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the thing in 2025 we should look forward to is just the change that we will visibly be able to see, and it's already happening, right? Northwest Florida State College in particular is building their residence halls out, and you know, Maddie Kelly's been a huge hit, and if you just watch how people move in and out of what's going on that campus, there's more people going there probably than ever before.
There's like more foot traffic.
Yes, more foot traffic. Yeah. Same sort of thing for what's going on in Central Parton. Same sort of thing that we'll see, you know, once the CRA gets really going and we start seeing more construction around that. So yeah, I think there's going to be like physically or visibly noticeable things in 2025 that show progress and things moving forward in Niceville.
Now that we've kind of like talked about the positive stuff, what are the biggest like threats that you see for Niceville in 2025? What are the things that we really need to avoid?
I mean, we can't avoid it, but like we continue to dodge the hurricanes. So if we continue to do that, that's fantastic. I always felt like this area is in some sort of like secret
Destined Dome plus.
Like, yeah, Destined Dome is like crazy how it just always goes left or right. And so I hope that continues. Knock on wood.
Knock on particle board.
Yeah, no. I think it will be on a macro level. I think it'll be really interesting to see how this administration comes in and what that does for the Department of Defense. So being one of the larger military bases and such a center of training in aeronautics and electronic warfare and all those things, you would think that if more money was going to be spent on defense, that would be good for us.
With the mission set almost changing as we're doing the whole like near peer thing.
Sure.
As opposed to like guys with AK-47s in the mountain thing.
Yeah. And I think we, you know, obviously also having as much land as Eglin does, it's a great opportunity that if the powers that be decide that there needs to be BRAC or consolidation, that we would be a place that gets consolidated to and not a place. Yeah. So if there is, you know, base reduction or mission reduction from other areas, like we would get those missions.
Other things to look out for in 2025. I know with Matt Gaetz gone, he was a big voice for like defensive probes here, getting more stuff here, more mission stuff here. That's my initial concern, like anybody when you get a new representation in Congress, that they're going to kind of start at the bottom of the pecking order, for lack of a better term. Not always necessarily. I mean, Matt Gaetz didn't, right? He very much got up in there and made stuff happen quickly, but there's always that risk when you have a new congressperson. Yeah,
but I think locally people are kind of excited about the breath of fresh air and maybe having a little less drama surrounding it. Is that a nice way to say it?
I think that is a very polite and incisive way to say it. All that said, I guess my point is that I have no reason to believe that we will lose funding. I am not worried about that. I am more looking at the threat of not getting even more stuff. More things, more roads.
Yeah.
More bridges. Bomb testing? Can we say that? I don't
know.
Sure. So that's my threat that I'm looking out for as we enter this special election rigmarole. January 28th, by the way, for the primary, April Fool's Day for the general. Perfect date. Way to go. And the municipal election in March. Get ready to cast all of the ballots.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could talk just briefly, and we've been kind of all over the place, so good luck editing this. But you know, I think in 2025 you're going to see the start of the pier out into Boggy Bayou. You're going to see maybe some of those bike trails and multi-use trails we talked about start to get developed. You're going to see Northwest Florida State College finalize their residence halls, and I'm not sure what their next construction project is. That might be a good question for Mel.
Great point on that. If they fill up to 90% capacity on their initial haul in the first year, they'll automatically start building a second one.
So there you go. You might even see more ground being broken there. I think you'll hear and see some new restaurants opening up in Niceville. I think that'll happen. Already hearing some percolation about some folks who are interested in doing that. So yeah, I think 2025 is going to be fantastic. I'm bullish.
Positive. Nice. There's got to be like a fun, like quippy way to say like you're bullish on Niceville.
I don't know.
I'll come up with it later.
I'm excited.
It's going to be
about Niceville. Yeah.
Well, that's, I think, all the stuff I got to cover today, unless you want to add something else.
I just want to go on record that the Gators beat the Noles.
The Gators did beat the Noles, and SMU will be playing in the ACC Conference Championship, and likely
against Clemson, right?
Yeah, against Clemson. And look, Ian, I know, man.
Oh, we got to dice this up for Ian. This part right here. Yeah.
My brother. I know it's going to be bad. We're just going to close. We're just going to close your eyes. All right.
You guys will have to hug it out.
It's going to be.
You guys should have a bet.
I'm not betting anything because SMU has broken my heart 32 years in a row.
You've got SMU gear. He's got Clemson gear. Maybe you got to do a swap or something.
I'm not. Orange doesn't look good on me. I'm not an orange guy. All right. Because I know it's a different color of orange. But then it's like, is that UT? Is it not UT? And I just can't go there.
Yeah, fair.
It's a horrible place for me to live.
Well, let us know what you think of this setup. I'm like 50-50 on it. Christopher loves it.
I think it's just like, it just looks pretty behind me.
Okay.
When I'm working.
Let us know if you like it or you don't like it. But
hit us with the opine.
Yeah. Comments. We need comments. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you think 2025 is going to look like for Niceville.
And give us a like and a subscribe and share it with your friends, because
all those things help.
Get everybody. It's not so much about us being. We want there to be likes and comments and subscribe so people can like talk about stuff and have meaningful conversation about these topics.
It's true.
I want to hear what you have to say so that we can talk about the stuff that actually matters to you, and we can get it the coverage it deserves. So hit us with those likes and those comments and the subscriptions and all the other things that do that stuff. And don't mind our feelings. Just tell us what you think.
Constructive feedback is okay.
Yes. All right.
Be nice, Niceville.
You heard the man.
See ya.